why I would highly recommend Geeetech Mizar S to anyone. That's what is an additional thought from Geeetech, to add this little plastic piece which saves you from a whole lot of troubles later. Different axes, and you can actually see that it's pretty quiet. And what the Geeetech Mizar S has been doing for 9 days non-stop. So you see, this is the key feature that beginners, starters, intermediates, professionals are simply gonna love, because this saves you a whole lot of headache and a whole lot of time. Now comes the big question: what can you 3D print with Geeetech Mizar S? Now, to be honest, this printer has been on and constantly 3D printing without getting turned off since 2nd March, and today is 10th March. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings. Ali Sharma here. Welcome to more 3D printers reviews. Today in this video, you're going to watch a complete and detailed review of Geeetech's newest 3D printer, Geeetech Mizar S, sitting right here. Now let me tell you what is my 3D printers review qualifying test. Any 3D printer that comes for my video review has to 3D print for 7 days non-stop without getting turned off, model after model. And if a 3D printer can survive those 7 days without showing any major issues, it qualifies for my review. Otherwise, it goes back to the factory. And I'm very, very happy to tell you that Geeetech Mizar S actually did 9 days of non-stop 3D printing, model after model, without getting turned off, including many of my projects like these. Took 32 hours to 3D print these 2 ducks. And Geeetech Mizar S right here, honestly speaking, hasn't shown me any issues. This has been 3D printing, and today, as you can see, it's taking rest. Right after this review, it's gonna start 3D printing once again, because there are many more projects. So I will bring the camera closer, talk about the features of this printer, give you a closer look at the printer and its components, and also, most importantly, I would tell you why I would highly recommend Geeetech Mizar S to anyone, including those who would like to get started with 3D printing. I would like to say why they should go for Geeetech Mizar S as their very first 3D print. What are those main features that made me fall in love with Geeetech Mizar S? And those are the key and main features that are going to make your getting started with 3D printing a very pleasant and easy experience. Honestly speaking, Mizar S do have those features that have saved me a whole lot of headaches. So we're going to talk about all those things. Let's get the camera closer to the 3D printer and let's get to work. First off, let me show you how it came in the box and how easy it was for me to assemble the Geeetech Mizar S. Let's take a closer look at Geeetech Mizar S and talk about its features. The first thing that I really love about this printer is its printing size. It's not too big, it's not too small either. The bed here is 255 by 255 millimeter and the height is 265 millimeters. So you can still 3D print a very good size of part right here without slicing them. So that's the very first thing. The second most important point is that you see down there are no adjusting screws under the bed for the bed leveling, because the 3D printer Geeetech Mizar S has auto leveling technology. It has a very sensitive pressure sensor that it uses, and 9 points automatically on this bed to level the bed. And after that, all you need to do is set your Z-axis offset and you are good to go. Trust me, leveling the bed is one of the biggest headaches when it comes to 3D printing, and it is a key. The bed leveling is a key how your model will 3D print and get stuck to the bed properly. Bed leveling, trust me, is a big headache. I have been spending a whole lot of time with bed leveling with other 3D printers. Even after you level the bed nicely, sometimes the screws under the bed, they actually get loose during the 3D print, and you have to get back to the painful process once again. With Geeetech Mizar S, everything is automatic. All you need to do is just go to the leveling, auto level. I'll show you that feature, and it does everything all by itself. Level the bed, and after that you just set the Z-axis offset and you're good to go. Your model prints very well. The first layers are printing really very nice. The bed addition is really very good. I did not have much failure. The only failed model I had while 3D printing with this was with a filament which was sitting outside for many days, and it has absorbed a whole lot of moisture. Apart from that, no models have failed so far on this one. Auto leveling is the one key feature that's gonna save you from a lot of headache and save a whole lot of time for you when it comes to 3D printing, especially for beginners who want to get started with 3D printing. Auto leveling, trust me, is a big headache for them, and now with Geeetech Mizar S, this thing is gone. Beginners can start 3D printing right away without worrying about leveling the bed properly. Mizar S does the things automatically. Now let's take a look at the print bed. This is worth talking about because this is where everything happens. Now first, as I mentioned, the size is really nice, 255 by 255 millimeter. And for the addition of the models on the bed, the auto leveling has taken care of that. Not just that, you also have this plate that comes off. It's a kind of flexible plate, as you can see, okay? And notice there is a big magnet, so it just sticks to it really quick. And once your model is done printing, you remove it, and because it's flexible, removing the model from this plate is also very, very easy. Now, given that the build of this build plate, it actually heats up pretty fast, and models start printing in no time at all. This heated bed is a combination of aluminum alloy, steel, and of course the whole magnet for this plate. So I've been having really easy time to print, and after printing, removing the model from this plate is simply piece of cake. Now notice on this nozzle there is a blue color, very soft piece of plastic stuck. This is a very important part because when you print, sometimes additional filament that doesn't get stuck on the bed, stringing, and many more causes sometimes can make the filament stuck on the nozzle and on this heated module. And if that happens, you have a very cluttered and dirty and kind of sticky module in after a couple of days. So this, having to have this part right here, prevents all that from happening. You have a clean heated module and a clean nozzle. The nozzle might have something, but it's easier to clean nozzle than cleaning the whole heated module down there. That's what is an additional thought from Geeetech, to add this little plastic piece which saves you from a whole lot of troubles later. And personally, if you look at it, the whole heated module and the nozzle piece right here, this part is very well designed. Look at all those inlets and the fans inside. So the printing goes really nice and smooth with this. So far I have had no issues at all. It heats up the nozzle really nice. The temperatures are pretty accurate, and I have had no blockage issues so far. Also, there's a pressure sensor built in, I believe, because when you do auto leveling, you have to press on the nozzle gently, and after that the bed will start doing auto leveling. I'll show you that process very soon. I have just turned on the printer, and let me just show you movement of the different axes, and you can actually see that it's pretty quiet. It's pretty quiet. So if I move the z-axis down, okay, let's move the y-axis. Let's move the x-axis. See what I'm talking about? It's very quiet. The only sound you hear is this charger in my room, which is charging my electric paramotor batteries. Apart from that, the beeps from the screen and no other sound. So the printer is actually using 32-bit MCU with a very silent TMC2208 driver. And with that 32-bit MCU and the new silent driver, really this printer is pretty quiet. Even at night, I sleep peacefully knowing that the printer is still printing and there isn't any sound coming from my room. All these stepper motors are working very quiet thanks to that new quiet and silent driver. Also notice there's a dual drive extruder right here with dual metal gears inside, so it actually extrudes the filament with proper power and never gets jammed. Until now I didn't have any jamming issues. One more thing that you might want to notice is that you have a dual z-axis vertical screws, all these, as you can see, right and left side, and that gives Geeetech Mizar S more precision when it comes to z-axis. And of course these two vertical z-axis screws also make it possible for precise bed leveling, whether it's auto bed leveling or manual bed leveling. The list of features doesn't just end here. As you can see that y-axis uses belt and also z-axis uses belt. There is already a screw installed here. You can actually remove it, and you have been provided two of these easy to install screws which you can use to put here and do, you know, quick adjustment of belt tensions, which really helps. So far I'm just using as it is this printer as it came from the factory, and I didn't have to actually install any of these things. Everything was perfectly set on this printer and it started printing right away. And the 3D print with Geeetech Mizar S are really incredibly nice. Talking about the build of this printer and assembly, it was very easy. As you have seen in the unboxing and assembly, it was very quick to assemble, and I really like the design of the parts, the metal parts they have provided, and overall size and weight of this 3D printer is also something I simply love about it, because it takes a smaller space, it has a bigger printing area, you can 3D print bigger models, and it's lightweight to easily you can carry it around. On the front side right here you see there's a USB port should you want to directly use with the computer all the time connected, but I prefer using it with the TF card slot, which is right here. It's much more convenient. And then here is the touch screen, color LCD touch screen, which works really nice and makes it easier for you to navigate around and tweak all the parameters of your 3D printer. It's nice and very responsive, and there are only few things for you to worry about. You know, the system right here, the menu system, the UI is really very easy to use and very convenient. All the required features are very easily accessible. Also notice there's a little LED light right here, which I will show you in this video when I'm 3D printing various models. You can see that you can keep this light on constant color changing, or you can turn it off, or you can put it on white color. Okay, I like it to change colors, you know, it's really beautiful at night. Apart from all these coolest features, also notice that the 3D printer has the filament detector right here. So if the filament breaks or runs out, Geeetech Mizar S will pause the 3D printing. Once you put in a new filament, you can resume the 3D printing operation right from where it paused. So normally the model will not fail due to filament run out or filament breaking. Also, if the electricity goes out or power turns off somehow, the 3D printer will resume the operation from where it stopped. It will remember that position, so you will have less chances of model failure or 3D printing failure. Now comes the big question: what can you 3D print with Geeetech Mizar S? Well, you can 3D print PLA, PETG, ABS, TPU, nylon, and carbon fiber. You can 3D print all these types of filaments on one 3D printer. So you have a wide variety of choices right here to 3D print, and how you want to 3D print with those materials is all up to you. Geeetech Mizar S is definitely up for the job. Now, all these features that I have been talking about for the Geeetech Mizar S, I can honestly say this printer definitely is going to make your 3D printing experience very pleasant. Now, apart from that, the most important one that we talked about, the one thing that gives people a lot of problem is bed leveling. Now, let me show you how auto bed leveling works on Geeetech Mizar S and how it saves you from a whole lot of trouble. So first thing you need to do for auto leveling, of course it does offer two different leveling modes, auto level and manual, but auto level does the job all the time, and I will say stick to that. So click on auto level, and then you say leveling. Don't go for Z offset, go for leveling, and then it will ask you to gently press on the nozzle. Okay, so use a tool to gently press on the nozzle. That's all. It says the calibration completed, and now it's waiting for the temperature to reach to nozzle 130 degrees and hot bed to 60 degrees, and then it will go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 points automatically. And remember all those positions. So you see, it was just that easy for you to auto level the bed. Now the bed is level. All I do is take one small piece of paper, go back, say Z offset, and start. And then put this paper down here and set my Z offset. Now it's very loose. I'm just gonna put it down until my paper is slightly showing me that it's touching the nozzle. Okay, so let's say 0.5, 0.4. Now my paper goes in and out very easily, and that's a very good point. So normally minus 0.4 and minus 0.3 is the charming point for me to start with, and then you say save successfully, done, and you are good to go and start 3D printing without any more worries of bed leveling or your first layer not sticking or not printing properly. So you see, this is the key feature that beginners, starters, intermediates, professionals are simply gonna love, because this saves you a whole lot of headache, a whole lot of time. Okay, now it's time for you to watch the Geeetech Mizar S in action and see what I have been 3D printing, what I have been up to, and what the Geeetech Mizar S has been doing for 9 days non-stop. another print is done. This printer, well, I can tell you, it's been 4 nights and 4 days, and it's still working non-stop. This is a nice long flexi snakes, really nice looking, man. And no resting for Mr. Geeetech Mizar. I just created a tensegrity, I believe that's tensegrity table. I believe that's what you call it, something that, you know, hangs like this. So I have my own design here. So the bottom should be red, top should be yellow. All right, tense table bottom, right, confirm. Super easy to use, plenty of options, nice responsive screen right here. And it's the 4th day of this printer working. Check this out, the Verani style pattern. A 19-hour job is being printed on Geeetech Mizar S. It's gonna turn out to be a beautiful 5 drawers shelf. Another morning and another print is almost going to finish on Geeetech Mizar S, and it has been printing for 9 hours 10 minutes. There's one more part to go, and then there's a 19 or 20 hours job that is waiting for this printer. Now, to be honest, this printer has been on and constantly 3D printing without getting turned off since 2nd March, and today is 10th March. So it has been 8 days this printer has been 3D printing non-stop without resting. And still it's doing very well. The only issue so far I have is with different filaments I get either this stringing problem or not a sticking problem if I increase the temperature. So this one I'm testing you know, different temperatures on this filament, so I'm writing it down which filament works best on which temperature. That's the only thing right now I have, but the stringing, that's the only thing I have, but the stringing is something that can be, you know, resolved by some of the Cura settings by increasing the travel speed and retractions. To say different color of filaments, as you can see I have many different colors down here. And thank you very much to Geeetech for arranging 5-6 kg of filament. So do remember that different colors of filaments will perform different, and you will have to experiment with, you know, printing speed and temperatures. But overall I can say this printer has been doing amazing job. Look at my table, it's filling up, apart from my medicine, it's filling up with all these 3D printed parts. And look at that little cutie spider, and this of my own design right here, mini desktop drawers, Verani style, was also 3D printed with Geeetech Mizar S. Look at that. Prints are really nice. Prints are really nice with Geeetech Mizar S, and this is definitely a workhorse, working for 8 days now non-stop, and it's still more days to go. Just finished 3D printing this morning of this nice big duct that actually I 3D printed in 2 different parts. And Geeetech Mizar S actually took 16 hours or more to 3D print those, and now the right side is printing, which will again take 16 hours. And where we're gonna use these ducts, well, gonna find out very soon. Welcome back. You have watched how the Geeetech Mizar S worked non-stop for 9 days, and still time by time it's not taking rest. It's still working and going to work right after this video review for more of my 3D printing projects. The models that you watched in this video that I have been 3D printing have been downloaded from the Thingiverse, and I will leave the link in the video description, so go ahead, you can always search those models, and I do give credit to all those people who created those models. Thank you very much for those amazing STL files available there on Thingiverse. Other models that I have personally designed and created and 3D printed on Geeetech Mizar S that you have watched in this video are also available for you to download and 3D print them. The link is in video description as well. Go ahead, check them out. You can find all my 3D designs and download and 3D print them for yourself. Just follow that link in video description. For the conclusion, I would say Geeetech is a brand that has come a long way. I remember my very first printer was a Geeetech printer, and my very first 3D printed model was a house that I 3D printed that small. And I had, trust me, I had a lot of issues 3D printing at that time because the 3D printing technology wasn't mature there. Now watching the Geeetech Mizar S, I can tell you the 3D printing technology has come a long way. And Geeetech, thank you very much for releasing the Mizar S, because this model really has some very, very key points, key features, and things that we need to consider. The size, number one, the size of the bed, the models that you can print. It's not too small, it's not too big. So you're not limited to print only smaller models and slice your models to smaller ones and then 3D print and join them. You can still 3D print bigger models on this one. The weight of the printer, the size and design of the printer is very compact, easy to carry around, easy to assemble, easy to disassemble, and easy to use. Number two, the most important is the auto leveling technology in this one that has taken a whole lot of headache away for bed leveling, and the first layer is not 3D printing properly. All those issues are gone. Number three, the quiet and silent operation of this printer. Number four, it's a workhorse. You can definitely use it non-stop to 3D print bigger projects. It will do the job. Number five, the choice of how many materials you can 3D print with Geeetech Mizar S is really worth considering. Before we end this video, let's talk about the issues that I have had with this printer, because those are worth talking about. Okay, so the issues that I had with this printer so far is that sometimes when I'm selecting the model, after I finish 3D printing one model and I'm going to select the second model, only sometimes, randomly it happens, only sometimes, not often, the printer will automatically restart and I just have to reselect the model and it will start doing job. Number two, the issue I had was that the Z drive going up and down was making a squeaking sound when it comes to models that require 16 hours, 19 hours. The longest I've printed on this 3D printer is probably 19 hours. So if you are doing long jobs, yes, I had the squeaking sound coming on from the Z drive, and it was an easy solution. All I needed to do was take my finger, dip it in the grease, and rub it on both Z-axis, vertical screws, and there was no squeaking sound. Apart from that, to be honest, there are no more issues that I have found in this printer. Everything simply works. So if you like this video, there's a link in the video description. Go check it out. Geeetech's official website for Geeetech Mizar S. And yes, I also want to mention that I have been using the Geeetech filament as well. Thank you very much for Geeetech for arranging some of the filament for me to test and be able to test this printer all these 9 days, more than 9 days actually now. And I found the Geeetech filament, though slightly expensive than the other ones that I buy, but is much better quality compared to other cheaper filaments that I have been buying. I'm talking about PLA here from Geeetech. So thank you very much for watching this detailed video review. Give this video a big thumb up. Once again, the link for the Geeetech Mizar S is in a video description. Go to the official website of Geeetech and you can check everything out all by yourself. Stay subscribed to my channel, hit that little bell icon, and don't forget to turn on all the notifications. There are many more interesting and exciting video reviews coming on my channels regularly, so stay tuned for all the upcoming video uploads. Come on, you know what to do. Hit that like button. It's right there. I know you can do it. Oh, while you're at it, also hit the subscribe button. Right there. Come on, don't be shy. Just hit it. Thank you very much for all your support towards my work, that I post regular and fresh content on my channel just for you. Hit that like button. Right.